Great. So, good afternoon, everyone that is attending the webinar. Welcome to our Stake webinar about product. We're going to be talking about our product roadmap mainly. What have we been delivering over the last quarter of the past few months, and also what's coming up. I'm going to introduce you to, first of all, my name is Ricardo. I'm Chief Product and Technology Officer at Stake. And I have with me Dane Dunlap. Dane is one of our product managers, and he's going to also present some of our good initiatives we have here and some of our products. Great. So moving forward, so we're going to go through, in terms of our agenda, we're going to go through our most recent releases, getting you up to speed with all the exciting things we have done around Stake and around our app. We can also talk you through what actually is getting us busy in this first 3 months of the year. We are very excited with our roadmap. And we're going to be talking about really what's next for Stake, what's next for roadmap. And we finally going to have time to get Q&A. You can ask your questions. We are here. We're gonna ensure that we have enough time in the end to answer them. But yeah, I hope it's a good session for you. I'm definitely excited about talking about all these things. So let's recap. During the last 3 months, actually the Q4 2024, we had done a massive number of initiatives on our product. We were very excited with 3 main initiatives we had. One it's called Auto Invest. Then is going to walk you through in detail. So Auto Invest is the ability for you to automate your real estate investment through the Stake platform. We have launched a new product line, a new actually investment strategy called Fix and Flip, which revolves around you investing in a property that needs renovation, and you investing mainly in a project where you can renovate the property and then sell at a profit, and therefore realizing a return. And most importantly, we launched our Stake Saudi Arabia, which means that within the same app, you can not only invest now in UAE, but you can also invest in Saudi. In particular, we had our first fund in Riyadh. No matter where you are in the world, using the same app, you can do that. I'm going to be talking about that in detail, but first and foremost, I'd like to introduce Dane, and I would like to hand over to Dane to talk about Auto Invest first. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Ricardo. Hey everyone. My name is Dane. As Ricardo mentioned, I'm a product manager here at Stake for the last 2 years. Had the pleasure to work on a few of these features that I'll take you guys through today. So the first one really want to dive into that we launched in Q4 is Auto Invest. And so this was quite a passionate one for us and something that we've received a ton of feedback on. And basically, this is a way to completely automate your investments on Stake. So really, it's quite simple. You just set up a monthly plan. This is how much you want to invest each month. That amount gets debited from your debit card every month. And then you just select basically a theme or an investment strategy that you want to follow. We have growth, income focused, or diversified. And based on that, the money that you deposit each month gets automatically deployed into this diversified portfolio that follows your strategy. It's 100% free. It allows you to create a diversified portfolio, and it's completely automated. And so what are the reasons why we actually built this, and what we were hearing from our investors all the time is one, life gets quite busy. It's hard to stay on top of savings sometimes. And so setting up automations is a great way to stay on top of your savings. So you can just set this up, sort of set it and forget it mindset. And you don't really have to worry because you know it's following the investment strategy you've already chosen. The second thing is sometimes it's difficult to know which properties you should invest in. Maybe you don't know the areas quite well. And so we've curated these investment strategies, again, growth, income, and diversified, so that you don't have to do all of the guesswork. Once you select the strategy that you want to invest, Auto Invest basically just follows that and does the rest. And then the last thing is obviously it's focused on diversification. So it invests in several properties per month. so that you spread your risk across several properties and remain diversified. So I'll actually show you a quick 1 to 2 minute demo on this and how you can set it up, but it's super easy. You just select an amount, you choose the investment strategy you want to follow, you link your card, and you set up a date that you want this to occur every month. And that's it. But I'll quickly open up the phone and actually just show you guys on the test app here. So here within the stake portfolio, so I'm here on the test app on the stake portfolio, you can see here we have a section called automations, and we have both reinvest earnings and invest on autopilot. I'll take you guys through reinvest earnings later in the webinar, but here just to focus on autopilot, we're going to be tapping into here. You'll see some information, go straight into setup. As I mentioned, you just select an amount that you want to invest each month. You can start from as little as 500 dirhams. And then once you select the amount, you select a theme that you want to follow. So diversified will follow a lot safer of an approach. It will invest across all of our types of properties, including balanced growth and high yield. Growth is going to be more focused on growth, and income obviously focused on high yield. So I'm going to select the diversified theme. So this theme invests in 4 properties per month, 2 balanced, 1 capital growth, and 1 high yield property. So I'm going to go ahead and select this theme. And then simply I select the debit card that I want to use and select the day of the month that I want this to happen every month. So I want this to happen on the 25th, let's say, of every month. And so here you can see that my auto invest will start on February 25th. And then I just review everything, make sure everything is good. And I just quickly verify my card. And that's it. So now on February 25th, I will have a deposit of 2,000 come in. And during the month, for the next 30 days, Auto Invest will scan for 2 balanced properties, 1 growth and 1 high yielding property for me to invest that 2,000. And then that will reoccur every 30 days on the 25th of each month. So yeah, Auto Invest is as simple as that. You can go in and make changes, edit or cancel at any time. So yeah, it's quite simple. So this is a feature that we were very excited to launch in Q4 of last year. Okay, so maybe moving on from Auto Invest here to the next initiative that we launched in Q4, which was an exciting one, Fix and Flip. And so Fix and Flip was actually a new property type on Stake. It's a new offering as part of our investment strategies. And so what we did here was we looked to find properties that were undervalued and had an opportunity to renovate, refurbish, and then potentially sell at a profit. And so this is a pretty common strategy in investing in real estate, but it's really only suitable typically for seasoned real estate investors. And the reason for that is because it takes a lot of upfront capital. So it's quite inaccessible because you need the money to buy the property if you're an individual investor, and then you need money for the renovation. So it's quite capital intensive for one investor. The other thing is that the deals are often hard to find off market, and so you really have to search for them. And the last thing is it requires coordination with contractors, and it's quite a bit of work for one person. And so what we have done is really democratize this and made it accessible for anybody to invest in. There's a reason why people like doing this strategy is because you can get some very nice returns using this fix and flip strategy. But like I said, it's not very accessible. So we've tried to make this strategy accessible to everybody around the world. And so maybe some key notes about fix and flip and how it's slightly different than the normal offerings that we have with our secondary properties and our ready and yielding properties. It's a little bit shorter of an investment period. So typically our holding period for fix and flips are between 12 and 24 months. And again, this is because we acquire the property and immediately start renovations and start the project of fixing. And then as soon as the project and renovations are done, we look to sell the property at the projected price that we have. And so that's why it's a little bit short of a time period. And that also means that during that period, there's no rental income. So again, the idea here is that you're selling the property for a much higher appreciation because of the works that you're doing, but you don't have a tenant in, obviously, when you are doing these renovations, so you don't get rental income. And the last thing to note is that these fix and flips are not available in our exit window, but again, you have a shorter holding period of 12 to 24 months for these projects. So, so far to date, since Q4, we've launched 3 fix and flips, and they've all gone really well. So the first one was nearly 4.5 million dirhams. It was funded in 2.5 hours. The second one was a townhouse that we sold in 32 minutes. So again, lots of demand for the fix and flips. And then the last one was a 15 million fix and flip. And you can see here the yearly investment returns between 11 and 12%, which is obviously very attractive. So yeah, we're looking to launch a lot more fix and flips in the coming year, and we have some coming in March. So excited about that. So yeah, that's a little bit of detail about fix and flips. But I'll pass it to Ricardo so he can go into more detail about Stake Saudi, which is the other big thing that we launched in Q4.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Thank you so much. Great. So on to the next big thing we have done, which is we launched a whole new market. This was more than 1.5 years in the making. And just to get you access, we are the first real estate international app to have access to Saudi real estate. So no matter where you are in the world, you can invest in Saudi Arabia. And the good news is that it's a booming market. So you have the opportunity in this day and age to invest in that market. You probably have observed on the news and around it, Saudi has a 2030 vision to drive growth and prosperity for the kingdom, and we are here also in that mission as well, to also allow you to have access to that market. It's a very dynamic real estate market. There's 1.5 million homes planned and more than 6 million square meters of office space planned to 2030. If you look at our first fund, it was a really tier A property that had a very important commercial tenant in it. Has a very important commercial tenant. So it's really those kinds of opportunities that you don't get often. As you know, Riyadh is set to host the World Cup, set to host the Expo, thriving in terms of sports and in terms of like bringing more international visitors in. So it's really like a once in a lifetime opportunity to get into like a growing market. So that's going to be, for us, it's very exciting to be part. And we see that as we want to give that opportunity to you. If I go into what are actually doing in Saudi, and I was just watching the questions coming up on the webinar, and why is that different? So the big difference is that in Saudi Arabia, you as an investor, you have access to private real estate funds. So what are private real estate funds? Are funds that we are through our regulated operation, we get to distribute to investors like you and I that can invest in those real estates. You can invest from anywhere. The funds are regulated by the local authority, which is the CMA, and they are always Sharia compliant investments. What is a fund? A fund normally it's a unique asset, not like a unit. For example, an apartment in Dubai. Typically, it's a building. Typically, could be a mix between residential and commercial. Could be a development. There's many different types. But what you get in exchange, instead of getting ownership, direct ownership, you get fund units, which is how a fund, basically the building blocks of a fund. The fund is managed by a fund manager, and that fund manager is responsible by executing the fund in terms of their projections. So when you are investing through Stake, you're going to have access to a projection sheet, and you're going to understand what's the strategy behind that fund. Each fund will have a different strategy. We try to make that very simple and easy to understand through our product. Let's go into the basics of the fund, and then I'm going to talk a bit about the application, how we structure that. So at the moment, our first fund was an income fund. An income fund is an asset that is ready, available to generate income. Typically, would be something that we can lease or tenant, which means that from the point of view that you invest on the fund, you're gonna in exchange receive your ownership documents digitally through the app. After that, we're gonna receive the regular dividends from that fund. At Stake, we typically pay dividends on the monthly basis, which means, for example, if you invest on a fund in January, and if that fund closes shortly after, you're gonna get dividends on the upcoming month, typically February or March. Then we have another type of option in terms of fund that is a development fund. A development fund invests in new projects, and those projects are geared towards capital growth. Typically, you are investing in a project that is being built, that is then at the end of the fund, and when that fund is managed, sold at a profit, and you're going to get returns. We are very excited to say that we are also exploring a third model in Saudi Arabia. However, we are still doing our first steps in the market. We are already trying to innovate. We are now looking into alternatives of funds that are called fix and lease funds. What are those? Those are investment vehicles that you can invest in high potential assets. High potential assets means that they combine the potential of you renovating the asset, meaning increasing their value in the market, but at the same time, after a while, ability to lease that asset and therefore receive rent, an income from that. All of that can be done digital through the Stake app. I hope that clarifies the questions. I'm going to talk a bit later about maybe answering the question directly about what's the difference between Stake UAE and Stake Saudi, but you know that already that Stake Saudi is all about real estate funds. In terms of our track record, not only we have a huge track record in UAE, but we got off to a great start in Saudi Arabia. We funded our first fund which is a prime income generating asset in northern Riyadh. It's managed by a top tier fund manager, Mulkiya Investment, and has been developed by the renowned developer RJ7. Over 5,000 investors invested in this fund, from all over the world. We had a really great traction with local Saudi nationals, Saudi residents, as well with investors resident in UAE, but also investors that come from all over the world. So that has been really exciting to see, and it has been one of the main milestones for Stake as a company and for you as an investor, being able to in a single app invest and diversify in a few clicks and a few buttons into the different assets. I guess the question poses, when is the next fund? And that's actually what our team on the ground is actively working on. And however, I can not announce anything today. I just want to ask you, it's coming very soon. Before I move forward and progress and eventually hand over back to Dane, I just want to say that next week we're going to be paying our first dividend on our first fund. So you see how it works. This is, again, going back to what I said, it's an income fund. We completely funded the fund at 100%, and we are at the point now to distribute dividends through the Stake digital wallet. We're going to be distributing in this fund north of 600,000 riyals in a single month, and we plan to do that consistently for the years to come. So that's a very exciting moment for us and for our investors. Without further ado, I'm going to just hand over to Dane, where we're going to talk a bit about what's happening at the moment at Stake.
Yep. Okay, awesome. So yeah, you guys just saw a quick view of what was happening in Q4. So now just going to go through a few initiatives that we've either already launched or are planning to launch very soon in Q1. So this is what we're doing right now. And so just to kick off, very similar to Auto Invest in the same sort of vein as automating investments, we have Rent Reinvest. So Rent Reinvest, in contrast to Auto Invest, takes your monthly rental payments that you already receive on stake and automatically reinvests that money into the highest yielding available property at the time. So Auto Invest takes fresh money from your debit card, and Rent Reinvest takes the rental income that you are receiving and automatically invests that money into a property. And so this is super simple on how it works. The only thing is that you need to have invested 5,000 on stake in order to set up Rent Reinvest. That's the only requirement. Once you meet that requirement, you can just go ahead and just click set up. When you click set up, automatically the next dividend that you will receive will be reinvested in the highest yielding property at that time. You also have, I'll just quickly highlight here, the option to do reinvestment of rewards. So by default, you might be, or on stake, you might be earning rewards such as cashback, referral bonuses, and things like that. Sometimes that money can sit idle in your wallet, or you might forget about it. And so you have the option to toggle this on, which would combine your rewards balance with your rental payment at the end of the month into the reinvestment. And as you can see here, you can pause any time. I'm going to quickly demo that as well. But why this is important, or why we built this, again, this was probably one of the most common pieces of feedback that we received, is I want to reinvest my dividends. And there's an obvious reason for this, and this is compounding. So, investors want to make sure that the money and the yield that they're receiving is automatically reinvested, so your money continues making money on itself. And so that's something that we wanted to enable, where you didn't have to be on your phone every time you receive your dividend payments. You don't need to necessarily go and invest that money exactly on time. You can just do it, set it up, and be away from your phone. The other thing is that with Rent Reinvest, we're allowing investors to capture the highest yielding property available at that time. So we're ensuring that it's investing in high yielding properties. And then, as I mentioned, it's very effortless in the same idea of set it and forget it. We want to make Stake the easiest platform to invest in. So I already walked you through some of the steps on setting it up, but it'll be easier if I just show you guys in the app itself. So again, just going back to the app. So you can see this is the same account that I have set up Auto Invest in previously, but here I'm going to set up reinvestment of earnings. Okay, well, I didn't select the user who's eligible, but as you can as you can see, you need to invest 5,000 on stake. And you can see from the screenshots here, I'm not going to log in with the user who has eligibility, but as you can see here, these are the steps here on this phone here. You just literally click set up, and that's it. Everything is on, and there's nothing more to it. You can pause at any time and toggle on and off rewards. So sorry about that on the demo, but yeah, that's pretty much it on Rent Reinvest. We've had some great feedback so far. It was launched in January, and it will continue to be operational now through our dividends in February. So yeah, so that's Rent Reinvest. Now just quickly moving on to rewards. And so we have something that's going to be launching very, very shortly, hopefully in the coming days. And it's a little bit of an upgrade to our reward program. So for those of you who don't know what the Stake reward program is, essentially we have different tiers that you can achieve on Stake. We have the Stake intro tier, Stake plus, and elite. And each of them are achieved by your investment milestones. So you can achieve plus by investing 25,000 dirhams or more over the last 12 months, and elite by investing 100,000 dirhams more in the last 12 months. And each of them comes with their own perks. These vary across cashback, increased referral bonuses, and other perks. And so this is sort of the reward program we have. You can earn by referring your friends and earning cashback. And so what we've done now, just as an announcement, is we have released, or we will be releasing, rewards in the Saudi Arabia market. So what does this mean? it basically means that investments across both KSA and UAE apply to your overall global tier. So now you have one tier on stake, and all the investments that you may have made in our first fund will apply to your tier now. And this also means that we've introduced new perks that also apply to the Saudi Arabia market. So now, if you are in the plus or elite tier, you can earn cashback in KSA. So for all of your KSA investments, you can earn cashbacks, and you can still earn cashback in UAE as well. And we've also introduced referrals in KSA. So now you can refer your friends to Stake Saudi and earn rewards based on that as well. And your friends, just to reiterate, when you refer a friend on Stake and they make their first investment, you get paid, and your friend also gets a reward that they can use towards their first investment. And so, yeah, this is the sort of announcement that we have here. And we have this table here just to sort of break down exactly what the requirements are and what the benefits are for the program as a whole. So now, as I mentioned, you can achieve plus and elite tier by having a combined investment across KSA and UAE over the last 12 months of 25,000 or 100,000 for elite. And you can see the referral rewards. We've made a small update to these rewards, given that we have now introduced Stake Saudi into the mix, but it's 450 for elite, 300 for plus, and 150 for intro. And then you can see the cashback percentages. So the UAE cashback percentages are the same, 1% and 2%. And we've introduced the KSA cashbacks of 0.5% for plus and 0.75% for elite. And one last perk that we've also introduced is early access to investment funds. So for anybody who's in the elite tier, you would have early access and be the first to invest in funds before they officially go live on the platform. So that's one extra perk that you get as part of the elite tier. Yeah, so that's a little bit on stake rewards. Stay tuned for that. It should be coming out very shortly. Yeah, so we'll move on and pass it back to Ricardo, who's going to talk a little bit about what is coming next from a product standpoint.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks again. Great. So we are getting close to the finish line here. We're going to be talking a bit about what's coming up. Look, maybe I can just disclose there's a lot going on. We are developing our product constantly in different fronts. You probably, if you are an active user of the app, you're gonna see changes coming in pretty much every week. So I'm sure you notice those. But I'm here. Time is of essence, I guess. I'm here to talk about the most important things. What are the things that will really change for you? So I'm very happy to announce a big movement for us, which is going to be seeking a new license in UAE, which will then if you can flick through. A license in UAE, which is going to be the ADGM license. ADGM stands for Abu Dhabi Global Market License. And what that license will do is allow us to expand our product offering as soon as we get that license. We are under application phase. Again, I'm just here to give you a sneak peek. We don't often talk about our, let's say, internal roadmap, but I'm here to give you a sneak peek for you to understand the breadth and the depth of the product offering at stake. Expanding into Abu Dhabi for us is one of the region's fastest growing real estate markets. It's really like compared to Dubai, of course, not as big as Dubai, but really we see great traction and great momentum going on. And given we have the opportunity to really, and it has been something that users have requested, how can I diversify further than Dubai? We are really excited to say that we are seeking that, and we're going to start by offering most likely residential opportunities in Abu Dhabi for you to invest this year. I have here a very provisional timeline, which is Q2 2025. But we see this as a stepping stone into a broader expansion as Stake. Stake is a global platform. That's our ambition. We are not here to only stay in Dubai, but I think the proof is in what we do and what we deliver. We already are present in Saudi Arabia. You can invest through the app in Saudi Arabia. We already are present in Dubai, very strong presence in Dubai, and Abu Dhabi is going to add as a third brother or sister to the other two. What, in terms of opportunity, this unlocks a whole suite of new products and offerings. We are really excited. However, I cannot promise anything. I think some people in the chat asked, when are we actually seeing commercial in UAE? That can open the opportunity to do that. Again, this is all about prioritization and what we're gonna tackle. I can here say today that we're definitely gonna have residential. But I think I guess we'll keep you posted in what's to come. But yeah, we are really excited with this. We are working really hard to make this happen. And the ultimate benefit is going to be that you can win via a simple app, invest and diversify your investments. So that's coming up. If you have more questions about this, I'm happy to answer towards the end. Okay. Next slide. So on the next slide, so one of maybe the themes, we are working a lot of things in parallel and a lot of things that are sometimes invisible to you. Our job is to make your life super easy and super seamless. And for that, sometimes we have internal processes that we need to improve. We have so many more things that we can do. But maybe something that really impacts you and the way you make investments is going to be about the way you pay, the way you pay. So put money into the platform and taking money into the platform. This has been an area for me personally, and rallying, I guess, our internal teams across it, that I'm really passionate about. So we're going to expand further into our options to put money into the platform. So today, just as a reminder, you can pay with debit cards. Typically, for professional investors in UAE, they can also pay with credit cards. However, in KSA, anyone can pay with debit or credit cards. So that's going to be somehow a big perk for users. So digital transactions is with cards is super normal these days, and we are no exception. When it comes to Apple Pay, we have been accepting Apple Pay for a long time, but only when we invest directly. So we don't have that option when you deposit. This is something that we want to expand. Is a bit of something that we didn't implement initially, but we want to be rolling out that. And we are also working actively to allow Google Pay across both the investments and deposits. So that's going to be great news for all the users out there that are using. Besides that, I remind yourself, you can always transfer by bank transfer. We accept any, I guess, bank-to-bank transfers, no matter where you are in the world. And in Saudi Arabia in particular, we also implemented a local payment method called Sadat, which allows users to pay through that system, and which is also super easy to do. And it's a very well adopted system. So we also have that payment method. So we have a vast array of payment methods available at your disposal. Don't forget, we can also top up your wallet and pay with your digital wallet. We have a state digital wallet to hold your dividends, but also to hold cash that you want to maybe pay. If you don't want to pull your card or you do your Apple Pay, you can always top up your wallet, and at the time at investment, paying with your wallet. That's also important. A big piece of feedback we had last year was about our withdrawal process. We are handling thousands and thousands of investors. A lot of you take dividends on a monthly basis. We want to make this a lot more smoother for you to get your money into your bank account, so you can therefore use your second income. We are doing big strides in making that process smoother and faster for you. I'm gonna come back with some news, but for those living in UAE, I do expect up to a certain limit instant payouts. Within minutes, you get the money in your bank, hopefully. And for those international, we are really working on the FX part. So how do you convert efficiently between dirhams or Saudi riyals into your preferred currency? For example, if I live in London, if I live in Europe, how can I do that efficiently? So we are working on that part as well. That probably is a Q3 thing, a Q3 initiative, not so much a Q2, but that is on our radar for sure. We are hearing your feedback and we want to address it head on. That's all we have to announce. I think it's, as you can see, it's a very exciting roadmap. Me, Dan, and the team are working around the clock to make this all possible. And we are very excited. We are very passionate about our product. So this is now your turn to ask us anything, and we are here to clarify. I can see some questions. So we have about 20 minutes, so maybe I can tackle some, and I also get Dan to answer some. Okay. So maybe I'll tackle one head on here, which I think has the most votes, I think, which is how do we differentiate with our competitors? I think it's a great, great question. Look, I think there's so many things that differentiate us that is going to be hard, but I'm going to just say a few. And I would like you guys to do, you guys that are on the call, everyone that is attending the call, to do your own research after I say these things. I think I would say one of the things that we differentiate us is really our vast experience. I'm going to explain. Not only we have vast experience in the market we operate in, we always equip ourselves with the best knowledge, and therefore we hope that translates then ultimately into the good investment decisions in terms of the assets we create to the platform, but also your returns. That cannot be forgotten. We have, when people are asking here, how do you source your fix and flips? We have experts in the field seeking the market every single day, 24/7, seeking for the best opportunities to use. So when an opportunity comes on the Stake platform, that opportunity has been curated, has been going through many layers of selection. So you always invest in the best assets. We are not a marketplace. We say this with proud. We are a curated asset marketplace. Okay, so that's very important. On the product side, I can only say that I've been building digital products for over 20 years. I've been building products in UK mainly. This is my first time in this market in the Middle East. But me and my team, when it comes to product and technology, we are a top tier company. We are building a world-class product. So I think, I think how they say, normally people say the proof is on the pudding. In the end, if you love our product, if you are getting good reviews, if you see us getting good reviews, maybe there's an additional trust. Maybe this Stake is getting good reviews for a reason. So I'm really extremely proud of the product we provide today. And that has been maybe second to none compared to our competitors. I can confidently say that. And it's not by any means of arrogance or anything. I do think our product is far superior than our competitors. Saying that, if you combine the hundreds of years of experience of our team, the great product that you might have, I think in the end, the numbers need to speak by themselves. So when I think about our platform, I think about a global platform. I think a platform that you can access multi-market. With a single app, you can access Saudi Arabia, you can access Dubai, you can access Abu Dhabi. Maybe later on, we are exploring assets outside of the Middle East. You're going to access those assets. We are multi-currency. No matter where you are in the world, you can invest in your currency. We are very friendly. We are multi-language. We have our whole app, not only in English, in Arabic. Maybe one day we're going to have different languages even. We do offer a top tier a product and experience. That means from the point of view that you invest, all the way from the point of view that you exit. So, and most importantly, we do have track record. We are not just saying that and aspiring to be. I think there was some competitors mentioned on the chat. I'm not going to name them, but if you look at what we have done in terms of number of properties closed, number of money raised on the platform, and if you look at their results, you're going to see the difference. And we are way far ahead. So, and we are far ahead because we work hard to make this product possible for you. So I think there's a lot of differentiation. The likes of what Dane explained, automation, auto invest, rent reinvest, fix and flips, you name it, access to different markets, different payment methods, localized, a top tier app that works seamlessly no matter where you are. It's on your Android, on your iPhone, on the web app. It's second to none. So without sounding like too optimistic, I do think our product is it's much superior. And given we are in a product webinar, you allow me to do that. I'll answer one more question, then I'll hand over to them to pick a few. What's the main difference? The question is, what is the main difference between stake Saudi Arabia and stake Dubai? So let me break it down for you. Stake Dubai at the moment, we are regulated business by the DFSA. What our license allows us is to fractionalize residential ready real estate. So therefore, we cannot, for example, sell assets that are off plan. We cannot sell assets that are in development. So the assets you have access to in the platform are assets that we are allowed by our regulator to offer. Now, when it comes to residential in Dubai, we do offer different investment strategies. We offer long-term. This means that the tenant is there and have, for example, 12 to 24 months contracts. We offer short-term. This would mean an holiday home where your income is a bit more, it fluctuates throughout the year, it's seasonal. And we offer fix and flip, which is typically, like I described, an opportunity for you to renovate an asset and then sell at a profit. We offer all these diversified different strategies. We also have other components, which is we have properties that are more geared towards yield, and there are properties that are more geared towards appreciation of the asset. But within all that matrix that you can build around this, you can diversify across Stake Dubai. That is Stake Dubai at the moment. We hope, I guess, answering some of your questions, we hope to expand that to commercial should our regulatory license allow, when we have the necessary licenses, but at the moment we can't. It's not that we don't want, we can't. On Stake Saudi Arabia, it's a fund distribution business, really. We are there to distribute funds. This is what our license allows. But what that allows us to do is also to offer different types of assets. For example, commercial assets we don't offer in Dubai. But again, as a user, if we offer one thing in one market and another thing in another market, what you can do is diversify across the two markets. Therefore, you take a lot less risk. You don't concentrate all your eggs in the same basket, and you can diversify, and you can actually receive income and returns from different geographical regions. Okay, so at the moment, that's where we stand in terms of Saudi Stake Dubai. But again, all of that using the same app, using the same login credentials, after you onboard, using the same passport credentials. So we are trying to make as it easy as we can, really, for you to invest. Then I'll let you pick a few questions here to answer as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'll pick up a couple here, similar topics that I presented on. So one of the questions Mohammed asked, is there any minimum rent we should have in wallet for auto reinvest to work? And the answer for that is there is, but it's 5 dirhams. So as long as you receive rental income of over 5 dirhams, you will have that automatically reinvested. And if you have rewards turned on, the combination of rewards and your dividends just needs to be over 5. And that's just simply to avoid making investments that are under 5 dirhams, because in those situations you might be receiving small amounts of rent. So we want to avoid that situation. And so the minimum is 5. Anything above that will be automatically reinvested. So that's on rent reinvest. And then there's another question in here, which is, will you be combining the loyalty programs of UAE or KSA? Oh, I can see now I'm on the main screen now. So the question is, will you be combining the loyalty programs? The answer is yes. So effectively what we will be launching, hopefully in the coming days, is a combined loyalty program. So your tier will be the same across Stake Saudi and Stake UAE. And investments you make across either market will go towards your tier. So just as an example, if I made investments of 10,000 in Stake Saudi and investments of 15,000 in Stake UAE, I would qualify for the Stake Plus tier across Stake globally, which means I can qualify for various rewards. So that's that. Hopefully the connection is still good. See if there's another question in here. Sure, Ricardo, if you want to pick up. Just scrolling
Yeah,
through.
I can. Yeah, I can pick up. Maybe just on because I'm here to also pick up more difficult questions. I think one difficult question here is perhaps the we have properties that we put out in the market that are not tenanted yet, and sometimes the process to close that properties and to find a tenant is takes a bit more than expected. Again, for me, I would say it's the same argument that you would go and invest in a property by yourself. We are asking an asset class that is somehow heavy, imperfect, and what we are trying to do, and we have experts in the field, uh, again, working 24/7 to get the properties rented out. It's really about how fast can we do that at scale. For us, it's our objective is always to not have vacancy. So I think it's really about like balancing your efforts. Meaning you might invest in a ready property, you might invest in a tenanted property, and you can balance the opportunities you have. Um, we have something just on that. We have built something that is called rental guarantee. I don't know if everyone is aware of that, but this is actually a great product value that we bring, which is after 2 months we guarantee the rent for you. So even if you invest in a property, that's very visible in our product. If you invest in a property and that property after 3 months is not rented out, we'll pay the rent on behalf of the tenant to get you a yield. This is a very important proposition for us because we want our first time investors to have a good experience. So yeah, if you for I think for Yonis that have asked that, I just want to let you know that we do offer rental guarantee, and that is something that you can automatically tap in. You are automatically opt in when you invest on a property. Maybe I'll pick one more question, which is when will Stake launch in some other popular property markets? Nothing will make us more happy than launching more markets. I think we just need to go market by market and assess the opportunity. Today, to be frank with everyone, we are very focused on the Saudi market. We are very focused in expanding our offering geographically in UAE. This is where the opportunity lies. We believe there's a huge opportunity for us and for our investors to access that market. So yeah, we want to go beyond the first fund, right? We want to do much more activity in Saudi Arabia, and we are just at the beginning. So we have an immense amount of ideas to execute, and in the end, that might mean hopefully at some point expanding beyond these two markets that we are present. But I cannot tell you. It's likely to not be a 2025 thing, to be frank. But yeah, I guess we'll keep you posted on that. Great. So what else we have here? Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
great. There's one question here. I'll just answer and then I'll hand over to you. Will you partner with the local bank so investors living abroad can open a bank account faster and easier? Okay, so this is something we operate in a fintech space, property tech and fintech. I think we need to first understand what are the pain points. One pain point is not so much the bank, like do we facilitate access to a bank account. The pain point is typically accessing it typically FX, like how we're going to transfer money from one currency to the other. We are committed to solve that problem as well, even though that is not our core business. We want to offer the best facilities to transfer from currency to currency. Today, all I can say without advertising is today there are solutions in the market for retail investors and for professional investors that allow you to access FX at a very low cost. So you can get, for example, you can have British pounds or you can have US dollars, and you can buy dirhams at a very competitive rate, and then you can actually use that dirham denominated wallet to invest with us. But again, this is a bit of a pain point. It's like a double step. We will make that easier this year for sure. We are working with some partners that will make this hopefully as competitive as you getting as it can be, basically. Great. So then, do you want to take a few more?
Yep. Okay, cool. I'll take some I see here. How does Stake coordinate with regulatory authorities in Dubai and Saudi Arabia? And what measures does it implement to ensure timely handover of legal documents, including property deeds? So just to reiterate, we're regulated by DFSA in Dubai, we're regulated by the CMA in Saudi Arabia, and we have compliance teams that are in constant communications with the regulators to ensure that we're doing everything to fulfill their requirements, and also everything in the best interest of investors and protecting investors. And so that's something that we take very seriously and do full time. And then additionally, when it comes to timely handover of legal documents in the process, we've both built technology and have teams that are in place that look after this process. So once a property is fully funded on Stake, there's both tech processes in place that are designed to automate some of this process, and then people that are also taking this process day to day. And so we have, I think, over the last 5 years, done a good job of getting this process pretty down pat. And so, yeah, delivering timely title deeds is something that we obviously focus on. So another one is, how does fix and flip factor cost of renovation into the yield? So maybe one thing to highlight is with fix and flip, you're not receiving rental yield, so you're not receiving income from tenants because the property is renovated. And so the profit that you make from fix and flip happens at the time of selling the property, which again, the holding period is 12 to 24 months. And the idea here is that we raise the money up front for the renovation costs. And then we sell the property in 1 to 2 years. And that is how we calculate your ROI. So it depends, it's basically the investment that you make compared to the projected sale of the property. And that's how that gets basically into your overall returns and how we calculate yearly returns. So hopefully that answers your question there. There's another question, which is when will commercial and administrative property be available for Stake Dubai? Just quickly, I think it was already touched on, but currently the DFSA doesn't allow us to do commercial and administrative properties in Dubai. This is something that we would like to do, and something that obviously we have conversations with the regulator about. So we would love to offer that on the platform. Currently we can't, but this is definitely an asset class we want to do. And just as a reminder, in Stake Saudi, we are offering commercial properties as part of our funds, and we are able to do that. So yeah, if you want access to that asset class, Stake Saudi, we do have commercial properties.
Maybe I'll just answer one more here, which is the I think it was. So I can't find West, but I saw it here. Can't find it now. But the question is, can I move? Okay, it was here. It was Wasif. Is it possible to move funds between Stake UAE and Stake Saudi? And the answer is at the moment no. When you invest on Stake, your funds are segregated in the different jurisdictions. So you actually have funds that are segregated into a separate account. In UAE, you have different funds in different denomination, which is Saudi Riyals in KSA in Saudi Arabia. At the moment, those funds do not physically, they're not touching each other, and at the moment they can't touch. However, this is the requested, let's say, facility. We will analyze if we can do it, because it's also, I think, we need to ask permission from the regulators, and we need to figure out how we're gonna actually operationally do it. But yeah, we hear you. At the moment, no. The straight answer is no. So when you are going to Stake Saudi, the funds that you see there are designated to invest in Saudi opportunities. Okay. Great. Just one more. Elias asked about the golden visa in KSA. Definitely something that we're going to be looking at. I don't have any news for you at the moment, but probably something that we'll be looking at if possible. Yeah, because we already offer that facility in UAE. but it's, to be honest, something that I'm not actually fully aware of. So I don't want to give you the wrong information. Great. What else? I think we are getting to the end. Like, Dane, do you want to take one more and then maybe we can wrap up?
Sure, yeah. Struggling to find some questions that we haven't answered, but maybe there's one here right at the bottom. Is there an option to add offline properties in Dubai? Sorry, signal's maybe not great, but just to reiterate, we currently as well are not able to do offline in Dubai with the DFSA. But this is something, again, that we are in discussions with the regulators with all the time in our conversations to see if this is something that we can provide for investors, again, just to provide more opportunities to diversify across different asset classes. So yeah, hopefully that answers.
Okay, great. So maybe I can just wrap up. First of all, thanks, Dan. Thanks for presenting together with me. That was a lot of fun. Talk about our favorite topic. For everyone that attended the webinar, thanks for attending. I hope this was clear in terms of our plans for our product. Thanks for being with us and loyal investors with us. So I would like to thank everyone. And I would like to thank everyone that asked the questions. I hope we could clarify most of them at least. Yeah, and I would just say thanks and stay tuned. We have, I think, a new webinar coming up with our real estate operations team soon. So keep an eye out for the next webinar. And for now, I'll say goodbye. Thank you.